The woman slowly untied the bandage, exposed the wound on the hand. Next second, he directly reached into the locust breeding shed. A painful bite came from my arm, and he just covered his mouth. Dare not make a sound. Due to fear, the child found out that they had sneaked into the restroom, the teeth left by locusts, pulling them one by one from their arms, and the reason why he did this, because an accident caused him to discover that he was feeding locusts with blood, can lead to a surge in locust production. Come to the breeding shed to check the results. The fact is exactly what he thought. With the feeding of fresh blood, the yield of locusts has increased more than 10 times. Not only did it become huge, and the frequency of reproduction is also very frequent, so my mother called Jack to help prepare to expand production, because both children are waiting to pay their tuition fees, plus the initial investment cost of the project. He has no other choice. After the locusts were fed with fresh blood, it has become a bit strange. They even started cannibalism, and then every night in the depths of the night, my mother will always come to the shed. The wound on the arm is healing slightly. He cut open his arm with a knife. Mixed blood-based feed according to current yield. Even if it's sold as animal feed, it will also be a significant income, but fed solely by his own blood, I'm afraid I'll be sucked into a mess overnight. So the next day he found the slaughterhouse. I ordered several large barrels of pig blood from there, add them to the feed, subsequently made into a feeding jelly, put them in the locustosaurus. This day, my daughter can't bear the ridicule of her classmates. In a fit of anger, he rushed into the breeding shed, picking up a knife and frantically destroying the locust side, and a large number of locusts flew out of the tent. He didn't know that a disaster was quietly coming. The boy looked curiously at the locusts on the glass, but what he doesn't know is, at this moment danger is approaching, not far away. Thousands of locusts are constantly gathering. I haven't waited for the boy to react yet. The locust rushed straight towards the car. The boy bent down in fear. Escape a disaster. But the goat suffered a disaster. A huge force unexpectedly took away the lamb tied to the steering wheel. The mother who arrived late saw everything in front of her. He also knows the horror of locusts. I had to drive out quickly to check the situation. As expected, the little lamb has been gnawed by locusts and its flesh is blurry. This sheep is the deceased husband. The mother who stayed behind dared not tell the children about it. I can only falsely take the child out to search for the lamb's belongings, to compensate for the debt owed to the child during this period. My mother took them on a trip to the seaside. I also bought a motorcycle that my daughter wanted. Seeing two children with happy smiles on their faces, it seems that raising locusts is not important. Money is the most important thing. Mother's business is getting better and better. Jack put a lot of effort into it. The relationship between the two is gradually warming up. But when we're about to take it further, my mother pushed Jack away, because he doesn't want to expose the wounds on his body. The next day, he expanded the new breeding house again. Coincidentally, today's pig blood was not delivered. There's no way. He had to draw his own blood again. But for tens of thousands of locusts, a person's blood, it's just a drop in the bucket. Under helplessness, he actually had an idea for his neighbors. This woman is too cruel. In order to increase the yield of locusts, unexpectedly throwing the neighbor's little dog next to the farm. But a little dog is not enough for a swarm of locusts to fill his teeth. Then he killed his neighbor's cow again. As the number of locusts increases, the woman has completely fallen into madness. On this day, my daughter came to the breeding shed. Seeing this terrifying scene in front of me, my mother actually started feeding locusts with her body. My daughter has already been scared out of her wits. I called Jack quickly. Meanwhile, the neighbor entered the breeding shed to find the dog, watching the fierce locusts. He opened the zipper out of curiosity, but when he shone his flashlight up, discovered a swarm of locusts piled up in mountains. This side has been mediated by Jack. The mother and son have also returned from outside. Jack got off the car, found something wrong in the breeding shed, so he boldly approached, but found out that a man's feet were from his previous neighbor, and now he's been hacked to pieces. Jack instantly understood his daughter's unspoken secret. Grasshoppers feed on humans. No wonder he looks so sturdy. In order to make my mother lose her way and return, he burned down the breeding shed with a single flame. But I didn't expect swarms of locusts to rise in an instant. Jack returns to the house, quickly closed the door, when my mother rushes back. But Jack suffered a disaster. Here! My daughter's voice came from upstairs. Mother rushed away at the sound, but no trace was found. Countless locusts chased their daughter out of the house. In a hurry, daughter's quick wit quickly escaped back to the lake. However, facing swarms of insects, doing anything is a waste of effort. Countless locusts come like a tide. The boat in the center of the daughter's martial arts world flipped over, resisting the attack of the insect swarm, but the locust still hasn't planned to let him go. Immediately went crazy, to rush towards my daughter regardless of life or death. The small boat shook violently. I'm starting to lose it soon. At this moment, my mother finally arrived by the lake. Seeing my daughter in danger, the instinct of maternal love immediately erupted. She endured severe pain and cut open her palm, immediately covered the entire face with blood. Soon, the daughter hidden under the small boat realized that there was no movement outside, so he carefully extended his head out. However, swarms of locusts enveloped their mother like a storm. They frantically pounced on the water surface. My mother's figure was also submerged. instantly disappear. My daughter swam over like crazy. Grasshoppers rush into the water. Most of them have already drowned. But my mother never showed up. Just when my daughter was in despair, my mother suddenly emerged from underwater. The mother and daughter are finally safe. The movie